I Hunt Down the Government's Mistakes Part 3, written by AnAverageDevin. I'm back, and with me I bring a few more of my assignments. I'm not sure how much more time I have, so I'll jump right into it. First up, codename Dahlia. Dahlia is, well, a doll. A ventriloquist doll, to be exact. Despite her simple looks, she's quite dangerous. Probably not in the way that most of you would expect, though. She can't move on her own. Well, she can speak, but that's it. So she won't be running around your home in the middle of the night stabbing people. No. Instead, Dahlia has an incredibly strong power of influence. One look into her eyes and she'll have complete control of you. It's a bit ironic, really. A ventriloquist doll that makes humans her puppets. In my briefing, I was told that Dahlia is essentially the definition of sadistic. She enjoys making her victims inflict as much pain as possible, before eventually disposing of them. I'm not sure if demons are real, but if they are, I'm sure that that's what's trapped in that doll. Dahlia was believed to be staying with a family of 4. She had been taken there by a scientist who had fallen under her control. She had only been gone for about a week, but there's no telling what she could have gotten up to in that time. The scientist who had taken her had returned to her workplace a day later and attempted to murder her coworkers, but that was quickly taken care of. I made my way to the family's home, hoping to be surprised by what I saw. Let's just say that I got my wish, but not in the way that I had hoped. I knocked on the front door, and after a few minutes of no response, I turned the handle to find that the door was unlocked. I wish that I hadn't. The moment that I stepped inside the home, I was hit with a putrid smell, one that I know means death. The walls were coated in blood. Some of it was dried, some of it was fresh, and still slowly dripping down. I found the family together in the living room. The mother and the 2 children were sat in a triangle. They were already dead and rotting. Their stomachs had been cut open and their entrails were hanging out. They had been posed in a way to make it look as though they were eating each other's organs. In the center of the triangle was the father, hanging from the ceiling. He had scratches and cuts all across him, but that was nothing compared to what had happened to his family. Just before I was about to spill my lunch all over the floor, I heard a voice from the opposite corner of the room. "You're just in time. What do you think of my art? It's a little sloppy, but I'm sure it will get better in time," the voice said. "Dahlia," I questioned. "Oh, have you come to get me already? I was having such a fun time too. Well, I'm done here anyway. I guess you can take me back for now. I'll be out again soon." I made my way over to the voice, making sure to keep my head down. I had no intention of ending up like the family. When I got close, I closed my eyes. I managed to pick her up and flip her over, and I made my way back out to my vehicle. "Let me sit up front. I like to have conversations during my car rides. Plus, you can't get much action from women in this line of work, so it will be fun for both of us," Dahlia said mockingly. As much as I wanted to chunk her in the back and throw a blanket or something over her, I also didn't want her to be out of my line of sight. So I granted her wish. I carefully sat her up front, turning her head towards the window. I'd be lying if I said that some part of me wasn't curious about her. I wanted to know more about what makes a monster a monster. "You should just take me home with you. Tell your boss that I wasn't here. I'm sure we could have lots of fun together, Dahlia said. Yes, I'm sure you would make great kindling for a fire, I responded. You're funny. I like you. I was thinking that I'd have someone kill you eventually, but maybe I'll keep you, she said. Oh, you don't just kill everyone? I asked. Of course not. I like to let the really bad ones live. It's more fun that way, Dahlia said. What do you mean by that? Are you saying that I'm a bad person? That made me a bit angry. I had almost turned to look at Dahlia, but I thought better of it. Was she just trying to provoke me? Oh, you aren't quite on my level, but I see potential in you. You didn't even scream when you saw my work. Maybe you even enjoyed seeing it. You may think we are different, but we really aren't, Dahlia retorted. She was partly right. I hadn't reacted when I saw the bodies. I had felt a little sick, but if I had seen that a few months ago, I would have probably passed out. Whether I like it or not, I'm definitely changing, and I don't think that it's for the good. What are you? I finally asked after a few minutes of silence. Look into my eyes, and I'll tell you, she said. Nice try. I may be stupid, but I'm not that stupid, I responded, almost bursting out in a laugh. Oh, what are you afraid of? Do you think you would see yourself if you looked into my eyes? Okay, that's enough. One more word, and I'm Googling where the nearest wood chipper is. Those were the last words that I spoke on our little road trip together. I dropped off Dahlia and informed them about the mess at the house, and they said that they would send someone over to clean it up. I was hoping that they would give me a break after what I'd just seen, but I wouldn't be so lucky. As soon as I turned in Dahlia, they told me they already had a new assignment ready for me. That would be codename Jack. Grandiose name, I know. This was probably the oddest assignment I had received yet, though. Jack was, from what I could tell, entirely human. I had no clue as to why I had been tasked with finding a human. Perhaps he was a runaway scientist or someone who knew too much. But he certainly wasn't what I had gotten used to hunting. I was told that Jack was incredibly dangerous, though, and that I shouldn't take any risks in trying to capture him alive. In other words, they wanted him dead. This only made me more curious as to what secrets Jack must have held. Jack was constantly on the move, so it wasn't easy to find him, but my training had paid off, and I was eventually able to track him down. I watched him for a few days. He didn't seem dangerous to me. Suspicious and cautious, yes, but not dangerous. One night, he stepped out of his hotel room to get food, so I decided to let myself in. Jack and I needed to have a talk. Jack didn't seem too surprised when he returned to his room to find me sitting on the couch. He simply held his arms out. So, they did send someone for me after all. Well, go ahead and do what you have to do. I won't fight it, he said. Sit down, Jack. I just want to talk. Jack raised an eyebrow at this. A curious one, huh? You know what they say about curiosity, right? I rolled my eyes and once again motioned for Jack to sit down. Who are you, Jack, and why did they send me after you? I asked. You don't know. I'm you, or at least I used to be. They tell us where to go, who to kill, who to bring back alive, and we do it, no questions asked. I couldn't handle it anymore though, so here I am, and here you are, Jack explained. This took me back for a second. I had known he had to have some connection to my agency, but I had never considered that he might have been in the same position as me. So, there really was no way out. Other than death, that is. I walked across the room, pulled out my gun, and I killed Jack. I had the answers that I had come here for. Perhaps Dahlia was right. We aren't so different after all. I returned with Jack's body. I wasn't asked to give my usual debriefing. Instead, I was just given a simple nod and told to go home and wait for my next assignment. I wonder if this was another test. If it had been, I'm sure that I passed it with flying colors. I understand if you think less of me for the choices that I've made, but if it wasn't me, it would be someone else. This was the life that I had chosen, or perhaps the life that was chosen for me. Regardless, I can't go back now. I'm simply one discardable person in the whole scheme of things. Don't mistake my actions for blind loyalty, though. I know the people I work for aren't good people. I simply know my place in this world. And the minute I stop being useful, I will end up like Jack. How does the saying go? Better the devil you know than the devil you don't.